up, transcribers? This is Kadera, hanging out in my bed. I don't feel too good, so just bear with me. I hope my voice doesn't give out. I'm a little bit hoarse, but yeah. Anyway, I'm here this week, 14, which is week 14, to talk about our men in the workplace. So I'm gonna try to keep this short. It probably will be short actually, because I don't have that much to say. Plus I don't feel good. So this will probably be one of the only times that I don't say a whole bunch of blah 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 blah. Anyway, I'm just gonna jump right in. Is my boyfriend out in his workplace? Joseph is not out in his workplace. And coming out of his workplace is not an option. Do my coworkers / bosses know my boyfriend is transgendered? Why or why not? 3 of my coworkers know. 2 women who know are they're both queer women, and they knew of Joseph before he identified as he. They didn't know him as in met him, but saw pictures, and I talked about him, using female pronouns and female names. So when he came out to me, it was really important that I didn't have people referring to him as a female, because I didn't want to make any mistakes in the very beginning. And so it was really important having them there saying he, how is he doing, where did he take you, whatever. And it was helpful in the beginning, and it was just basically creating a space for me to be able to hear that, at work. So that's why. The third person who knows is this older woman who is almost like a mentor to me at my job, and the only reason I told her was because one of her best friends who passed away not too long ago was a transgendered woman. And so we've done a lot of talking and building about transgender issues and people and just things in general surrounding transgender folks. And so it just seemed to make sense for her to know, and just for us to be able to continue to build and have conversations further. So that's why they know. No one else at my job knows. I don't, talk about, transgender, whatever, anything with anyone. Actually, I only talk about with the one woman who is like my mentor. The other 2 women just know Joseph as my boyfriend, and they say, how's he doing? Where are you guys going on a date? Whatever, these sort of things. And that's it. We don't even talk about the fact that he's trans. It's sort of a mute topic now. As far as my mentor, we discuss some things concerning the transition and just the things that she's experienced, and just her being supportive of me. So yeah. How did they take the news? The first 2 women were sort of surprised, because the way it sort of came out was because I said I had a boyfriend now. I was talking to a girl, and then I had a boyfriend. So immediately they were asking about this woman and saying, what happened to her? Did you guys break up? What's the deal? I'm like, no, we didn't break up. We're still together, and whatever. And they're like, so explain, Kadera, what's going on? You're dating 2 people, whatever. And I'm just like, no, I just have a boyfriend. But it was really awkward and weird, and it was clear that I just wasn't saying something. So eventually, it was like, okay, just spill. Like, okay. So I did, and I just told them, and they were like, oh, okay, well, then I guess that would make sense why you'd have a boyfriend. Less a surprise. Everyone at my job knows that I'm a lesbian. I'm very much out at my job. I came out during my interview. That's how I live my life. And so although I am very much out in my world, I know that it's very important to Joseph that he is not, and just respecting his identity and his um, his space to choose um, where he would like to disclose and not. I've I don't go around telling people generally. So, but those people know at my job. Mm, Joseph is not protected by any non-discriminatory policies. Mm, and I guess that'd be why he's not out at his job. Yeah, so he's not out because there are no policies protecting him, and so it's just not safe to do so. How important do I feel it is for a trans man to disclose at work? I think it depends on the situation. Is he pre-op? Is he pre-T? Does he plan on using those tools in his transition? Um, where does he work? Does he work for a queer organization, or does he work, you know, in a school, or a law firm? I mean, I don't know. It just all depends on the organization or the company. Um, Obviously, if you work for a queer organization, you can be totally out and it's cool and maybe even helpful. If it's another sort of job, you might not want to tell. Um, Unless, of course, you feel like there's going to be a whole bunch of changes happening before their eyes, and then, they might want to know why someone with breasts is walking into the men's bathroom. Um, yeah. Or why someone who, you know, was wearing tighter shirts and had huge breasts now has none and a beard. So those sort of things. But then again, some people, some transgender folks identify as male. Um, Genderqueer folks identify as male and then don't go through the physical transition. And so for those folks, I'm not really sure what would be the best bet for them. But I think it's a personal thing, and everyone has to decide for themselves. Does insurance cover any part of Joseph's transition? No, it does not. And because he can't be out, and because there's no policies to protect him, it wouldn't even make sense for him to try. So, no. And that's all I got for you guys this week. I hope you've enjoyed. Please come back, watch again, and comment. We appreciate all of the support. We love you. Peace.